If you're planning a trip to Europe in 2025, things are changing. New rules, new tech, and yes, unfortunately, even more crowds. I've packed this video full of useful, concrete information from travel authorizations to luggage rules to safety updates. Here's what you need to know before you book that flight. Let's go. All right, let's start with the big one. Travel authorizations. If you're an American or from another visa exempt country, you used to just be able to show up in most European countries with your passport and a smile. But in 2025, that is changing. The European Travel Information and Authorization System, the ETIAS, is a new electronic travel authorization required for travelers from visa exempt countries, including the US, Canada, Australia, and many others who are visiting the Schengen zone. So where does this apply? The ETIAS is required for entry into all 27 Schengen area countries, which includes France, Italy, Spain, Germany, Greece, and obviously more. This does not apply to the UK or Ireland. How are you going to be able to apply for the ETIAS? The process is going to be online and will take about 10 minutes and is going to cost about €7, which is about $8 US dollars right now. You're going to go to the official ETIAS website, which is expected to launch sometime in 2025. Once you're there, you're going to fill out an application with your passport details, travel plans, and a few security questions. You'll pay the fee, although it is free for travelers under 18 or over 70. Most approvals come within minutes, but some might take up to 30 days if additional screening is needed. How long is this valid? The ETIAS is valid for 3 years or until your passport expires, and it allows multiple short visits of up to 90 days within a 180-day period. The second travel authorization that is coming online or has come online this year that might catch you off guard is the United Kingdom's ETA. The UK is rolling out its own electronic travel authorization, ETA, for visitors from visa exempt countries, including the United States. It's going to apply if you are traveling to England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So if you're flying into London Heathrow, Edinburgh, or Manchester, you are going to need an ETA. The application process is very similar to the ETIAS and is going to be entirely online. You're going to apply through the UK government's official website or app. You'll have to, again, submit your passport details and answer some security questions. You'll have to pay £10, which is approximately $13 US dollars right now. The approval is usually within 48 to 72 hours, but applying at least a week in advance is probably a good idea. The UK ETA is valid for 2 years, allowing multiple visits of up to 6 months per trip. A few key takeaways here. Number one, you must apply for these before you show up to the airport and fly to Europe. You can't just show up at the airport and get on the plane. You are going to have to prove that you already have either the ETIS or the ETA before you get on the plane. Both the ETIAS and the ETA are electronic. There's no stamps involved. The entry is actually linked digitally to your passport. You're going to want to apply at least a week or two before your trip to avoid any delays. So if you're planning a multi-country European adventure in 2025, be sure to check if you need one, both, or neither the ETIS or the ETA before you travel abroad. Number two, Europe is also launching a new digital border system called the Entry-Exit System, the EES. Instead of passport stamps, they're going to scan your biometric data. Think fingerprints and facial scans every time you enter or leave the Schengen zone. Now, this is great for security and tracking overstays, but it also might mean longer wait times at border control, especially when it is first being rolled out. So if you're flying into a busy hub like Paris, Amsterdam, or Rome, be patient and probably don't book a tight connection. Also, if you love keeping your passport full of stamps like I do, Sorry, the system is making them a thing of the past. The timing for launching the ETIAS is actually tied to when the entry exit EES goes into operation. The most recent information I have seen is the EES starting in the spring, with the ETIAS beginning about 6 months later in the fall. But if I hear or see anything different, I will definitely keep you updated. The third important European travel change is something where they're actually taking a step backwards, and it pertains to the liquids rules. Over the past year or so, new X-ray technology scanners had been replacing older scanners, and theoretically, these new scanners were supposed to allow larger volumes of liquids to go through and carry on luggage and allow laptops to stay in their bags. Rome, Amsterdam, and a few airports in the UK had totally eliminated the minimalist liquids limit rules. Wow, that's hard to say. So for now, both the EU countries and the UK are reverting back to requiring all liquids in your carry-on luggage to be 100 milliliters or less and must fit in one of their liter-sized plastic bags. To be prepared, if you are carrying liquids in your carry-on or personal item, have them packed so they can easily be transferred into one of those liter-sized bags that they have at their airport security if they ask you to. Another very, very frustrating travel problem the EU is working on is a rule for regulating standard baggage sizes for all European airlines. There are a lot of AI YouTube channels telling you that this has already happened and that you are going to have to go out and buy new suitcases to fit these standardized sizes. However, that is not true. As much as it would benefit all of us traveling to have one set standard maximum sizes for carry-on luggage and personal item bags, that is not going to happen anytime in the near future. The EU did have a workshop to discuss the matter last July, and they were set to have another workshop in November, but there have been no new decisions made. Just a general consensus that it would be a great idea. Until standardized sizes become a reality, always check the rules for the specific airline or airlines that you will be traveling on. Europe is not built for lazy travelers. There are hills, cobblestones, endless stairs, and no elevators in many historic buildings. If you're planning on exploring places like Edinburgh, Santorini, or Mont Saint-Michel, you are in for a workout. This is a great reason to start walking more before your trip. Get those steps in, because hauling a suitcase up 5 flights of stairs at a cute little Parisian Airbnb, it's no joke. But don't worry, I have a great way for you to get in Europe shape by starting your fitness journey with Get Healthy UTV, the sponsor of today's video. Get Healthy UTV is an amazing resource for not just workouts, but also health tips and inspiration. I love that Get Healthy UTV has specific programs created just for women our age. When I was on my winter European adventure, I was so happy that I've been using Get Healthy UTV to get in travel shape. From hauling my suitcase on and off trains, to drilling holes in the ice for ice fishing, to polar plunges. I also love that no matter where I travel, I can pull up a workout on the app and stay in shape while traveling. If you're just beginning your health and fitness journey, there are programs for you too, like Active Aging Beginner and Fit Over 60. For me, using Get Healthy UTV has been an easy button that I needed to keep up my strength training. Get Healthy UTV has a special offer for my community. The first 1,000 subscribers to click the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership to Get Healthy UTV for only $1.49. This is valid for only new members. What a great way to start off your health and fitness journey. Thank you again to Get Healthy UTV for sponsoring this part of the video. If you haven't already embraced tap to pay, now's the time, because in Europe, cash is quickly disappearing in 2025. In most major European countries like France, the Netherlands, Scandinavia, and the UK, you'll find that credit and debit cards with tap to pay are preferred over cash. Even tiny cafes, metro systems, food trucks, and street vendors now pretty much expect digital payments. Public transportation is also moving away from paper tickets. In cities like London, Paris, and Rome, you can now tap your credit card card or phone directly on the metro turnstiles instead of buying a separate ticket. Does this mean that cash is completely gone? Not quite. There are still some places where having a little cash is smart. In Germany, many of the small businesses, cafes, and even some restaurants still prefer cash. Yes, even in 2025. If you're going to more rural areas, like you're headed into a small village in Italy or a local market in Spain or a small little countryside bed and breakfast in France, expect that cash might still be required there. And let's talk about tipping. While tipping isn't as big in Europe as it is in the US, some restaurants and service workers prefer cash tips, especially in places like Spain, Greece, and Eastern Europe. To be prepared, you should consider getting a credit or debit card that doesn't charge you foreign transaction fees, because this could save you around 3% per purchase, which does add up really quickly. And make sure that your cards support contactless tap to pay. If it has that little Wi-Fi looking symbol at the top, you're probably good to go. Also consider setting up mobile payments on like Apple Pay, Google Pay, or Samsung Pay on your phone. In some countries, mobile payments are actually more common than cards. And always keep just a small amount of local currency, maybe about 50 euros or so, for emergencies, just in case you end up in a spot that doesn't take any cards. There are a few downsides to credit cards. Some might get declined at European train stations. If you're an American using a credit card, you might need one with a PIN feature in order to use some of those self-service kiosks. And know that most, if not almost all of the ATMs charge withdrawal fees. So if you do need cash, try to find an ATM inside of a bank and not a random currency exchange kiosk in those tourist spots, because they have absolutely terrible rates. Post-pandemic travel is still going strong, and in 2025, Europe's most popular cities will be busier than ever. If you're headed to Paris, Rome, Santorini, Dubrovnik, or Amsterdam, be prepared for long lines at major attractions, overcrowded streets, especially in summer, and higher hotel prices due to demand. So how do you avoid the worst of it? Travel in the shoulder season. April and May, or September and October, are ideal times to visit Europe. Make sure to book attractions in advance. No more last minute Eiffel Tower or Colosseum tickets. And consider alternative off the beaten path destinations, like instead of Paris, try Lyon or Strasbourg, or instead of Rome, try Bologna or Lecce. Number 8, mass tourism has been overwhelming some of Europe's most iconic destinations. And in 2025, more cities are taking action. If you're headed to places like Venice, Barcelona, Amsterdam, or the Greek islands, be prepared for new fees, restrictions, and rules designed to protect local communities and historic sites. After years of debate, Venice finally implemented its day tripper tax in 2024 and will continue it into 2025. If you're visiting Venice for the day without staying overnight in the city, you must pay a fee of €5 and register online before you arrive. This applies only on peak tourist days, which are mainly in the spring and summer. If you're staying overnight at a hotel, you're already paying a city tax and don't need to pay the day tripper fee. But if you want to avoid the fee, like I said, visit in the off season or obviously stay overnight instead of day tripping. Barcelona has long struggled with overtourism, and in 2025, they are reducing the number of short-term rentals like Airbnbs and VRBOs. Many apartments that were once rentals are now being converted back into long-term housing for locals. This means fewer affordable accommodations, so expect higher prices. Tourist taxes in Barcelona have also increased up to €5 per night per person, depending on where you are staying. A tip here is to consider staying in nearby cities like Sitges, Girona, or Tarragona to avoid high prices and still be within easy reach of Barcelona. Amsterdam has the highest overnight tourist tax in Europe, and it's going up again in 2025. The tax will be 12.5% of your hotel bill, compared to just 7% a couple of years ago. For cruise passengers, the fee is now €14 per person per day, which is a big jump from previous years. The city's also banning new hotels and discouraging large tour groups in the red light district. Consider staying in Haarlem or Utrecht, both of which are cheaper and just 15 to 30 minutes away from Amsterdam by train. And the Greek islands, especially Santorini and Mykonos, have been struggling with cruise tourism overwhelming their ports. So in 2025, new rules will limit the number of cruise ships docking per day. Santorini is also capping its daily visitor numbers to protect its small towns from overcrowding. Mykonos and some of the other Cycladic islands are also considering seasonal visitor caps. Think about visiting less crowded Greek islands like Naxos, Milos, or Syros, which still offer stunning views but without all of the chaos. Several other cities are increasing or introducing new tourist taxes in 2025, like Edinburgh, Scotland, Lisbon, Portugal, Valencia, Spain, and Florence, Italy. And what this means for you is you can expect higher accommodation costs due to the new taxes, and be aware of the new visitor restrictions and tourist caps in those crowded areas. You might consider visiting less crowded alternatives or traveling in the off season to save money and avoid peak season chaos. Do you see a theme here? Europe is cracking down on overtourism to protect its culture and residents. So, as travelers, it's important to respect these new rules and plan ahead to avoid unexpected fees. Number 9, enhanced safety measures in European cities. Europe remains a safe place to travel, but in 2025, many of the major cities are stepping up security due to rising tourist scams, pickpocketing, and safety concerns in crowded areas. If you're visiting places like Paris, Barcelona, Rome, or Athens, expect more visible security measures, stricter entry checks at attractions, and a greater emphasis on preventing petty crime. Yay! Cities like Barcelona, Paris, and Rome are notorious for pickpockets. But in 2025, local governments are introducing stronger measures to combat theft and scams. You can expect to see more police patrols in tourist-heavy areas like Montmartre in Paris or La Rambla in Barcelona and the Colosseum in Rome. Increased surveillance cameras in metro stations, train hubs, and historic landmarks. And tourist education campaigns. Some of the cities are putting up beware of pickpocket signs and warning travelers via official tourism apps. We saw some of these campaign signs when we were traveling in Tromsø, Norway, and I have to say, I was a little surprised because you don't think of the Nordic countries as having petty crime issues, but they're out there. Some easy ways to keep yourself safe are to wear a crossbody anti-theft bag with lockable zippers, like my favorite one from PackSafe. Don't keep your phone or wallet in your back pocket, and be cautious of distraction scams like somebody accidentally spilling something on you, asking for directions, or pretending to be a petition collector. Also be aware that big attractions are stepping up security due to safety concerns. In Paris, the Eiffel Tower has added airport-style security checks due to past security threats. In Rome, the Colosseum, Vatican museums, and the Trevi Fountain are increasing bag restrictions and scanning visitors. And in Barcelona, some metro stations will have more security guards patrolling platforms to prevent pickpocketing and harassment. This means you will want to arrive early for major attractions in order to allow time for security screenings. You're going to want to travel light because more places are banning large backpacks, or they're requiring you to get a locker for storage. And you might consider using an official transportation card like the Oyster card in London or the Navigo card in Paris to avoid ticket scammers at metro stations. Also check to see if the city or cities you are visiting have an official safety app. Many European cities now offer free safety apps that send alerts about crime, protest, or unsafe areas. These enhanced security measures are making Europe safer for travelers, but staying aware and being prepared is still key. Number 10, travel in Europe is becoming fully digital. And in 2025, if you're not tech savvy, you might struggle. More cities, attractions, and transportation systems are shifting to online booking, mobile payments, and digital-only tickets. If you're still used to paper maps, printed tickets, or cash payments, It's time to upgrade your travel game. Some of the major changes happening are public transportation systems in cities like London, Paris, Rome, and Berlin now use contactless card payments or mobile apps. Some no longer sell tickets at stations at all. Train operators like Eurostar, Trenitalia, and Deutsche Bahn require digital tickets. Many don't even offer paper tickets anymore, and museums, landmarks, and theme parks are shifting to app-based or QR code entry. No more buying a ticket at the door in places like the Louvre, the Vatican, or La Sagrada Familia. In 2025, if you're not using apps, you're missing out on key travel information. Many cities are phasing out those printed schedules, paper maps, and in-person tourist offices. Some must-have travel apps for Europe: Google Maps or City Mapper, so that you can get real-time transit information; Rail Europe for booking and tracking your train tickets; Get Your Guide to help you buy fast-tracked entries to popular attractions; and, as I've mentioned before, Apple or Google Pay for those cashless transactions. In 2025, having the right travel tech isn't optional, it's essential. So before you leave for your trip, I would encourage you to download the essential apps that you need, book your tickets online in advance, especially for those busy sites, and get an eSIM so you will always be connected. And if you have no idea what an eSIM is or how to use one, check out this video next. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have safe and wonderful travels.